Hi, welcome back, Perez family. As you know, I'm Dr. Atkinson, and I'll be your therapist for the duration of our treatment, which we'll talk about the length here in a second and how many sessions to be expected. Last week was more of an introductory session where you guys just got to kind of hear about me and what I do, and I got to hear from each of you just a little bit of where you're from, your background, which we covered that you're a Cuban-American family. Juan, Violet, and Daisy, you all have been here for about 15 years, so pretty much your whole life. And Lily, you're more recent. You came over about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I do have to let you guys know that as a mandated reporter, as a social worker and clinician, I am mandated to inform the Department of Children and Families that Daisy, as an underage minor, was given alcohol. So unfortunately, that
one more thing we have to worry about.
So I did have to inform them about that. So you will probably be getting a call from someone just to ask you some questions and make sure that she's safe and everything's okay. I wouldn't be too concerned, but I just did have to let you know that as a mandated reporter, and everything you say is confidential unless you bring up things that are a harm or risk to yourself or others. So the alcohol in a minor was a risk. So moving on, let's try not to get too down about that. We still have some great things that we're going to go over and we're going to talk about today. So the treatment method that I have chosen for you guys is strategic therapy. Strategic therapy was birthed out of the communications theory from the Mental Research Institute. And basically its focus is every behavior is communicating something. So whether that's verbal or nonverbal, you're telling the world, your family, yourself, an overarching message. That may be a negative feedback loop or a positive feedback loop. Juan, I'm going to use you as an example. As you can see, Juan's body language is his arms are crossed. He's kind of more stiff, which is communicating that he may feel a little more frustrated or uncomfortable with what's going on right now. Whereas Daisy's arms are relaxed and open, she's a little bit more open to what's being said and what's happening at the moment. So that's kind of an example of how strategic therapy reads behaviors as parts of communication. So one of the biggest things is, in order for this to work, you all will have to follow directives given by me. So I will listen to what each of you understand the problem to be, and we'll kind of narrow down what we feel is the main issue that the family is experiencing, and from there determine what the directives or goals should be. Now, this has been proven to be a very successful evidence-based practice. So as a result, you don't have to stay in therapy for years and years and years. Typically, things are resolved, issues are resolved, solutions are found within 8 to 13 weeks. So this is week 2. At about week 4, we'll do an overall review, kind of check in with everybody, see how everyone's doing, and then determine if we'll do 8 or full 13 weeks. So to get started today, if each of you all would just take a second and kind of help me understand what you believe the problem to be. We're going to be respectful of everyone's time and everyone's space, and each of you are individuals, which means you have a different perspective. So Daisy, I'm actually going to start with you. If you don't have to go detail by detail of what happened. We kind of already know what happened with your aunt getting a DUI. You were in the car. So just as a whole, what do you feel is the biggest issue in your family?
I feel like my dad's being a little bit too harsh, and it just makes me feel really bad. I feel like my aunt made a mistake. She didn't mean to do that, and I don't know why. Like, I get why he's mad, but I just feel like his response is just a little bit too harsh.
Juan?
At this point, I'm just very frustrated and I'm furious. I'm disappointed with Lily and Daisy because the reason why I reacted the way I reacted because my brother passed away from a drunk driver. So in many ways, I'm just very concerned with the safety, not only my daughter, but my sister-in-law as well. I'm just frustrated, and I honestly don't know what else to do.
Lily?
I feel like the main issue is kind of communicating. I feel like the way that Juan is communicating the way he feels about what's been going on is making me feel like I'm not accepted in the family, and makes me feel like people are mad at me and I'm making all these mistakes. And since I'm still kind of trying to adjust to life here, it's hard. I really want to feel like comfortable with my family, and I just feel like I'm being put down and being blamed for things.
Violet?
I think for me, it's just I'm having to kind of divide sides. I feel like everyone's kind of pulling a side. I want to be there for my sister. I want to be there for my daughter. I want to be there for my husband, but I can't take sides, but I do want my daughter to be protected, and I care about my sister, and I care about my relationship with my husband.
Okay, thank you all for sharing. So I want to kind of cover some strengths and some weaknesses that I'm seeing. We'll start with the strengths. You all seem to be all using language that is communicating you all love each other, and there's a general sense of care and concern for each member, and ultimately you guys are saying that you want your family to be closer, to be stronger, and to collectively resolve these problems. So I would say that's a huge protective factor and a strength, that you have a strong sense of family and you want the family unit to be safe and protected and operate well. You, from what I understand, Juan and Violet, each of you have successful businesses which provide you the opportunity to put your daughter in a good school and come and get treatment. So that is also a good protective factor because you have the resources available to get your family the care that it needs. Now, some of the risks I'm hearing, yes, Lily, your behavior is problematic with drinking, and especially with Daisy being an underage child, even though you're not a child, according to law, you're still a child. That is problematic. And it seems like there's a lot of communication issues happening here. Everybody is kind of being affected, but it doesn't really seem like anyone is saying how you're talking to each other or how you're working together to resolve those. So that can be some risks. And then also with being Cuban American and recently coming over, there's some issues with assimilation into a new country and a new culture. So those are some of the issues, but never fear, we can work together to come up with some solutions. So the next thing that I want to hear is anything you all have tried so far, any ways that you have tried to deal with Lily's drinking or deal with the communication issues. Daisy, is there anything that you feel your family has tried so far?
I mean, I remember them mentioning to my aunt, a few times that, sometimes at some of the functions that we'd have that she was drinking a little bit too much.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So just mentioning, hey Lily, you're drinking too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Juan, have you guys tried any interventions, any solutions?
Honestly, I feel like we have. Daisy and Violet have been the middle person throughout our attempts of talking between me and Lily, and I feel like it ends up blowing up to a huge argument. So I feel like we get nowhere no matter how many times we've tried.
What do you feel like a solution to this problem would be?
Honestly, I feel like she needs to get help and go to an inpatient treatment, because I feel like her drinking habit is a way of her coping from, I guess, coming from Cuba to here. So that's my idea, but obviously my wife does not support me in that case. So.
Okay. Lily, have there been any things you guys have tried? Any solutions?
I guess I've tried to explain to them that I don't feel like I'm drinking too much. It just makes me feel more relaxed and more, I guess, at home. It reminds me of being at home and having fun. So I kind of just try to explain my behaviors, but I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm being understood.
Okay. Violet?
I mean, I try to have talks with my sister, on the side, and tell her, hey, you need to cut down your drinking and this and that and not as many beers, not this hard liquor, and she will stop, maybe for one reunion or two reunions, but then it just continues.
Okay. All right. So kind of what we've done so far hasn't really worked. It's kind of what I'm hearing. And so, Daisy, do you have any idea what you think could be a possible solution?
I mean, if it's the drinking that's the problem, I don't know if you could try maybe to drink a little less.
Okay.
At least.
Mm-hmm. And Juan, you feel that the rehabilitative inpatient is kind of the only solution?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, I think this could help.
The family therapy?
I really do.
Okay.
I think it could.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what we're here for, right? Okay, so taking in everything you all have been saying, here's what I'm thinking and seeing. So in moving into our goals and the directives, I'm definitely going to suggest the 13 weeks. Again, we'll check in at 4 weeks and see if it's necessary, but moving forward, let's plan on having a total of 13 sessions. And with the first set of goals being and directives being, I'm seeing a lot of communication issues between you, Juan, and Lily. There seems to be a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of tension. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to suggest that you all hang out and spend time together for a total of between 2 and 3 hours. You can divide that up however you want to. Next week when we meet, we'll review it, and then the week after that, you'll have another chance to spend another time sequence together. You can do any activity you want, go get coffee, whatever it is, whatever feels comfortable to you. But I would suggest that to try and begin to improve your communication. Maybe pick an activity you can bond over, playing a game, maybe both read a book that you're interested in, something that will help build the connection between the two of you. If the family as a whole, as you all have mentioned that your family togetherness and connectedness is very important to you, also, it seems like from what Lily is saying, she's very much missing certain traditions and elements of her home. And so she's trying to continue to remind herself and feel comfortable with things that were comfort and fun or enjoyable to her back in Cuba. So I would suggest that as a family, you all try to continue to incorporate some of those traditions that maybe you would have done in Cuba. Maybe it's getting together and making a meal from Cuba that you all really loved, or a game, or a dance or music, something that will bring you guys together and closer, but also help incorporate some of those cultural elements that might be missing now that you're here in the United States. So between this session and next week's, I would like at least one family togetherness activity. Like I said, you can either make food, you can go see a Cuban show or music, whatever it may be. And then specifically Juan and Lily, I would like you guys to spend intentional time together between now and next week for at least 1 to 2 hours, and then the following week we'll do it again, and then kind of track it. Now, Daisy, I would like you specifically to kind of keep a log of how you are seeing your family improve, and kind of write your emotions down to make sure that you're not getting lost in the middle of all this. And then next week we'll kind of reflect on that as well. And Violet, you specifically are going to work with Lily on kind of tracking her drinking and kind of helping her cut back. And then once again, we'll meet next week and reflect and see how everything went as we continue to work towards our goals. So how does that sound for everyone? Good. Does anyone have any questions? Anything else you want to go over? No? Everyone feels good? All right. Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.